This is 15 years before Hamilton. 15 years before Hamilton, we're doing historical black figures.
What?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Boom! Shakalaka turner! You're out on the floor! Ejectocito, cuz! It worked! I love this part! Please! Come on!
Goodbye, Benny.
Welcome to the Millennial Classics. On this show, we talk about the best and most memorable movies, music, and culture-changing events of our generation. Murray, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear it because you do have some real explaining to do with the movie you picked this week for the Millennial Classics. What movie are you doing it, and why in God's green earth is this a Millennial Classic?
So first off, I'd like to say that the original one was Rush Hour 2, to defend myself, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay.
The original was Rush Hour 2. But I will say, I just felt that after we had done Chris Tucker, if we're doing Millennial Classics and we're doing, we got to big up the black comedians that carried us through, because I feel like every episode we shit on Kevin Hart.
Oh, 100%.
This generation, this generation. I mean, I even like Kevin Hart, but I'm just saying, like, there's only like Kevin Hart in this generation, pretty much.
That's 100%.
When we were growing up, we had like Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Martin Lawrence, and all these guys who were like doing black comedian movies.
Yep. Cedric the Entertainer. Like, what's that movie? Johnson's Family
Vacation.
Yes. So we had real like. And now we have like some serious black actors. Idris Elba, who's the dude?
We've always had serious black actors.
I know,
First
but
off,
like
we had these serious black actors. We had Denzel.
We've always had Denzel.
Wesley Snipes.
He's a serious black actor.
Watch Passenger 57. Tell me he's not serious.
All right, whatever you say. Okay, I'm sorry. Black Knight. Why is this movie?
So we needed to do a Martin Lawrence movie. We have to do it.
Of course.
But so this is where it gets tricky, because I sent you Rebound. You made that shit real quick.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
I knew you were going to say yes to Blue Streak.
Yep. That's a given.
And then after you get rid of those two, it's pretty much this or National Security. Now, National Security, the entire premise is that he gets away with a Rodney King beatdown, a fake Rodney King beatdown. Like, that's literally the premise of the movie. And then because of that, they have to let him be a cop or some shit.
Which is the most crazy thing.
Like,
he gets a Rodney King beatdown, and it's actually the cop swiping at a bee. You remember that?
I mean, that's like a fake George Floyd death, and then he gets like to become a cop. That's literally the movie.
That's the movie. And you can't be doing that shit in 2022.
You shouldn't have been doing it in 2003.
Yes.
So we got to Black Knight. Now, Black Knight is one of those movies where, as a kid, the jokes bang, the action isn't bad, and you remember. And also, I'll say this: it's cool seeing a black dude in medieval times.
Yeah, and
you never get that. And
the premise itself is fun as shit. I can't wait to talk about the sequel or the recast. Like, I think that the premise of a dude getting sucked into a different time and just thinking he's just hanging out at like a castle is hilarious. It's a good time. It's a good time all the way through.
And so I honestly am just like, we have to do this. And for Martin Lawrence.
Exactly. This is for Martin Lawrence.
What day is it?
It is the year of our Lord 1328.
Who be ye? Who be I? You put your hand on me one more again. I'll be stomping your...
Now, he's discovering.
What's up, homie?
I'm here to help you return the kingdom to our deposed queen.
Say what?
Being noble.
Y'all really know how to make a brother feel welcome? Slaughter them! You can thank Tiger for that.
And then we'll be
now,
doing
all
Bad
that
Boys.
being said, that being said, this movie is trash. It's utter garbage. I will say that. Like, I'll big up Martin Lawrence. We're doing this for you, but holy shit, I usually just like put like for my notes, like I'll put like half a page just for the scenes.
Yeah.
And today I was so excited for this movie. I remember watching this as a kid, get so excited that I was like, I'm gonna put the full page.
There you
full
go.
Page notes just for scenes. Just for scenes. Man, I was half an hour in, I had written the damn thing.
Come on. Okay, listen. This podcast is called the Millennial Classics. It's about the classics. It's not how great the movie is. I enjoyed my time watching this movie. Yes, this movie might not be the greatest thing. It might not be good. It just might not be good. But it is definitely a classic. I love the jokes you said for kids slap. I think it slaps either way. I was giggling, laughing out loud the whole time.
So I literally wrote down, this movie is like, if me and you had to write a movie about a black guy gets stuck in medieval times, we'd make the same jokes.
100%.
What if we did a drive-through, you know?
You gallop up, you get your shit, and you gallop away. Can't stop, baby. I like it. I enjoyed it. So you guys, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. So this movie came out on November 21st, 2001. So jump with me, ladies and gentlemen, in the Millennial time machine. And let me tell you what was going on at the release of this movie. So like I said, November 21st, 2001, it's the day before Thanksgiving when this movie came out. And people were looking forward for their dinners tomorrow. George W. Bush Jr. is currently the president of the United States, and the movie Monsters, Inc. is at the top of the box office. Apple iPod music player was released October 23rd of that year, 2001. On TV, people were watching Touched by an Angel, King of the Hill, Dark Angel, and Fear Factor with yours truly, Joe Rogan. The beginning of the end, my buddy. The beginning of the end. Meanwhile, gamers are playing titles such as Crazy Taxi, Pokemon Stadium, and Diablo 2. Did you play any of those?
So that was in the John and Barry Boys and Girls Club days where you get dropped off from Boys Club right after school, and they had Pokemon Stadium.
There you go.
I never knew how to play, but it looked fun. Crazy Taxi is a fucking bang of a game.
Crazy Taxi. I was about to say Crazy Taxi.
They had those arcades. Mm-hmm. And that shit. It was like
the wildest. I mean, the thing is, they call it Crazy Taxi, but if you rode in a taxi back in the day, that's how these motherfuckers drive. I mean, they were just riding. But lastly, the teenagers were watching Friends, Batman Beyond, The Amanda Show, and Lizzie McGuire. And again, thanks again, this whole time machine, thanks to bestofthedate.com. I would go over the movies, but looking at the list, you and I have run over that list probably 3 to 4 times at this point. Right. So Mabari, the makings and ratings of this movie, Black Knight.
All right, so I tried really hard to find a positive spin on this, but Rotten Tomatoes is 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. 1.5
or 5.0?
1.5.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
32% Metacritic.
Wow. Okay.
First off,
the critics thought it was. Wait, that's insane.
So I did find one positive.
Yeah.
On Google, 72% of Google users said they liked it, which is what.
Saved by the Google users.
This was a box office bomb. That's what we call it in the business. $50 million budget, which I was astounded. You look at the cast. All right. So if you're listening, just bear with us because it's gonna sound like I'm shitting on the movie for the first 20 minutes. It comes around.
But the truth is the truth. You can't get around the truth. Yeah.
$50 million budget. This movie looks like it was made for $12 million.
100%.
And if they paid Martin Lawrence $10 million.
Bro, the castle in the beginning of the movie is a castle. It looks the same shit.
Yep. It was filmed in North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's not like they have to travel far. You realize $50 million in 2000 is literally like $80 million now.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was like 10 million an episode, and each episode looks better than this movie.
1,000,000%.
Like way better. I don't even know where the money went. There's parts of this movie where he's walking through the woods, and it looks like you could film it like on someone's iPhone at the park, like around your street.
Arena Park, yes. And they don't even try to make it like a real woodsy area. It's literally a few trees.
It looks like America Woods. It looks like America Woods. Like everyone's wearing regular. It doesn't even look like the costumes are crazy.
Nope.
All right. Let's stop shitting on it. Box office made 39.9 million, so flop. Boom.
Yep.
This is about Martin Lawrence, so let's talk about Martin Lawrence.
Please.
This is his run. Bad Boys. So Martin, the show, Bad Boys, Life, which is a sick movie.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I have.
You haven't seen that? It's Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, Bernie Mac.
Oh shit!
They get accused. They get accused of being. They're like bootleg runners.
Yeah.
And they get accused of murdering someone, and they get life in prison in the South.
Oh, I think I've seen scenes from that movie. I've seen scenes.
Right.
From
Everyone's in it. I think Charlie Murphy's. Everyone's in it, and they get
shit.
it, and it's about them living in that prison, and it's a comedy.
Of course.
Blue Streak, sick movie.
Yep.
Big Mama's House, iconic. Black Knight, great run. That's as good as it gets for a comedian. You're gonna have some duds.
Yeah, and he had the Big Mama's House has like 2 sequels.
It's a franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so
a trilogy.
Honestly, this is one of the shortest Wikipedia pages for a movie.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Not much
the
to it.
IMDb is short. The cast is small. So Tom Wilkinson is in this movie, and he's in one of my favorite movies, Michael Clayton, and he plays the knight, Sir Nolte of Marburg.
Yep.
And he's like by far the best actor in this movie. But
okay.
No, it's just a shit role.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He's in real life he's the best actor. And
okay.
I was like, he's too good for this movie. Then I checked his IMDb, and this motherfucker does it's him and Nick Cage, bro. He does 80 movies, bro.
Oh shit.
He's in
he's in everything.
Yeah,
okay.
But he's really good.
Gotcha.
But the cast is just a who's who of.
Who's the director? Who do we blame for this disastrous?
I think we gotta blame Martin Lawrence, to be honest. The director is Gil Junger, right?
Okay.
And I can tell you right now, 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh, actually, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Nah, that's about it. 10 Things I Hate About You and Black Knight. Black Knight's his second.
Oh shit.
He does a lot of TV.
Okay.
And he was like a 90s and 80s TV director. He did a movie in 2020 called Think Like a Dog.
Word. Yeah.
So
yeah. Word. Think Like a Dog.
There's
What
a bunch
an
of TV
exciting movie.
Yeah. This movie has a lot, we don't even talk about shots a lot, things, but this movie has a lot of that wide angle shots. Instead of physically having a horse run towards a person in real time and space, it has a lot of the horse running towards you, and it's a long lens or whatever, so it looks like it's close, and then they'll blur it so that it looks like the horse is running towards it, and then it'll cut to Martin Lawrence, and it'll be like a fisheye, really short lens. So then it looks like he's getting scared, and Martin Lawrence has to make a face, and then and then he'll dive out of a stuntman will dive out of the way when they're clearly 30 feet out.
Yeah.
And
if you see his dive, he gets trampled by the other horses. And
the action is so bad. As watching this as an adult, it's so bad. The sword fights, that you almost rather at the end they kind of do this fake, he's doing a dance. He does when he's beaten up, he does a split, and he does the break dance, lift over the shirt. Honestly, this movie would be better if they just had dance offs for all the fake fights.
Oh yeah,
if it was Step Up or whatever those movies were, where they just did dance offs.
We have to do Step Up.
Lean in. You got to lean in. We got to lean. If the movie is going to be this bad,
if it's going to be this silly, yes,
lean into it.
100%. 100%. No, because the fights are ridiculous. You're talking about these if you wanted us to take it even an ounce a bit serious, these are men who are knights. Their job is to fight. They're born and die fighting, and they have this dude coming over here. You want to play golf with the sword? Come on, man! Come on,
bro. So at least we got that. So let's actually go through the movie.
Yes, let's jump into the scenes. Talk to me. I know you said the first 30 minutes, but you can't say the first 30 minutes there was nothing worth talking.
That's a lie. That's a lie. There was a 20-minute gap, but I immediately wrote something down about the intro.
Talk to me.
I wrote, all right, this is me quoting verbatim what I wrote. Might be the worst movie intro I've seen. It literally, they play like a dance hall song.
Yeah,
and a rap song, and it's literally Martin Lawrence in front of a mirror making faces. And then,
but don't you think he's good at that? He's good at the faces.
But it's like they knew that all we'd be doing for the next 2 hours is watching Martin Lawrence make faces, because that's literally what happens.
A lot of the movie is him just
a
being
lot of
shocked.
movies, a reaction shot of Martin Lawrence making a face, and then yeah.
Yes,
but
okay.
it's just Martin Lawrence in front of a mirror, and it's I come on, we can do better here. It's if me and you made this movie and we filmed it, I'd be like, all right, that looks good. But a $50 million movie,
that's no way.
Can we get like a credit sequence, something?
Yeah, something,
maybe, bro. Something. Buy a better song. You spend some of that money, because this literally looks like a money laundering event. This is what we're watching here.
You know what I was about to say? Yeah, that scene is wild, but the driving scene is so much worse.
Dude, it's CGI car.
It's so much worse.
It's like, how expensive is it to put a camera on a car?
That's what I'm
how
saying.
Expensive is it? Indie movies do that. I don't. It literally doesn't even make. It cannot be cheaper to green. Is it that much cheaper to green screen?
No, it can't be.
I mean, what the hell is going on here?
It is bad, because the thing is, I feel like they did that entire green screen situation just so they could do that swerving, but it wasn't funny. You didn't see the other car. It was just him with the sound effect and him saying sorry. It didn't make sense to do it. But
you know what it feels like? You know, like when sitcoms have to do like driving scenes or whatever, and they clearly have like $100. So it's like, yeah, we'll just do a quick green screen. It's only going to be for 30 seconds. No one's going to know. And that's not what the story's about. They did that for this scene, and the end credit scene in Rome is all green screen.
It's all green screen.
And you're like, what the fuck am I watching? That makes sense, at least. Because you know what? I'm not going to expect these guys to fly to the Coliseum.
Yeah, no.
It's like, dog, I know you guys are shooting in Carolina. You can go to Charleston and just fake fucking driving around and just put a fake screen. How much would that really cost them?
And the thing is, if you watch the intro carefully, it's not only that they just like the green screen around. They do the same exact thing if they were going to drive in like a North Carolina city. They just put up a picture of the Staples Center and then go back to that shitty ass driving scene. It's like, come on.
Because they still clearly had a crew there to film like someone actually driving around LA. So I don't know. You could, unless Martin Lawrence was like, I'm not getting on a flight to LA unless you give me another $1 million. And then the director's like, fuck. But still, I don't know.
Stop making excuses, bro. That was a shit driving scene.
Dude, I'm trying. I really tried. Martin, I really tried for you, man. I really tried.
The only thing I have to say good about that scene is I actually do like the dancing and him getting ready for work, because just like as a dude, when you have the music in the background and you just get out the shower and you dancing and you're just looking at yourself in the mirror, obviously that's taking it up to like 10, 100 when it's obviously, when you're doing it at home, you're by yourself, you're singing, you're dancing, you're doing the whole thing. I appreciated that. And I thought he was really good at that, but that's as much credit as I could give that scene.
But I will say this movie does tackle the hard-hitting social issues very well. It handles a lot of issues before its time. It's very good at that. I'll give it that.
Like what?
And
what like, issues?
Here's a quote. Laurie A. Finke and Martin B. Schickman noted the film provided commentary on early 21st century race relations in the United States, noting that despite his triumphs in the medieval setting, by the end, Jamal continues to live in white America, which requires hybridity, not dominance, from African-American men. He may be a better man for his excellent medieval adventure, but he's still black, poor, underemployed, and living in Listen, you think we're joking here, but we picked these movies for a reason.
Exactly.
Okay? The next scene I'm about to talk to you about, when he meets Tom Wilkinson's character, Nolte. Yeah, he throws some jokes out there, but he saves this man's life, a homeless man. He tells him to go to IKEA, get some nice end tables, get him a $5 lamp. Those jokes out there still, to keep the light comedy. Get you some food stamps. The best part is he's like, get you some food stamps because this right here ain't it. But he still gives him money,
Yeah, he does the right thing.
You're living in Denver, big homeless problem all over America right now.
Yeah.
20 years ago, Martin Lawrence, Black Knight, they were about that. They knew what was coming. Help your fellow man, give him $2, even though he literally can't spend it, which might have deeper meaning there also.
Of course,
but
of course.
I'm just saying, look at these hard-hitting issues. He works for a black-owned business, a medieval black-owned theme park.
I love this effort, and I appreciate this effort.
This is 15 years before Hamilton. 15 years before Hamilton, we're doing historical black figures.
Okay, well, we're doing a historical period piece with Martin Lawrence. His name is Jamal Skywalker. What a historical black figure.
That might have been a reach. All right, fair enough. You got me. I'm full of shit. But
just as a nurse watching this show, I just have to put a PSA out there. Mouth spray is not equivalent to CPR. I'm sure he saved the dude's life, but that's not how you do it in real life.
No, but for real though, if you go back in time and a medieval dude is dying and needs CPR, if you have mouth spray, just do that because that's how you get monkeypox. I'm telling you right now. As a non-nurse, I'm telling you that's how you get monkeypox. So don't spread that shit. Also, you probably have so many diseases that those guys haven't even hit yet. So if you fucking kiss that dude, you're gonna give him first off, these guys like polio and all this bullshit that we've eradicated. These guys would fucking die touching this guy.
Yeah, you would kill the entire county instantly. Mm-hmm. That's a good defense as to not doing CPR, I guess. But that scene was pretty good. The jokes hit every single time.
The other defense is this guy lives in his own shit. So.
My favorite thing is he says to the dude, he's like, "Look, you get yourself some food stamps, and if they don't believe you, get one of the Social Security workers and come check your situation."
This ain't it. I was fucking dying, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the comedy hits. When it hits hard. I like that scene. Next scene, talk to me.
He does go to the town. They do a whole Normandy bit, like, oh, you're from Normandy. Yeah. So the suspension, the reason why this doesn't hit as much is as an adult, as a kid, the suspension of disbelief is low because you kind of you can kind of you kind of go with the flow and you can understand why he's like, as an adult, you're just like, does this guy not understand? Like how as an adult, you would understand that this is a weird situation from the jump.
Exactly.
He sees a legit castle and woods and no roads, telephone poles, everything, and he's like, "Oh, this must be medieval world." What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about here?
Come on, man.
This must be medieval world. What are you talking about?
It's like, where's the roads? Where's the cars? Where's anything that you think would be normal? No, he's just like, no, this must be the new castle. They got the whole shit down.
And it's not like he realizes it pretty soon when everything is weird. It's like it takes him about 25 minutes in movie time.
No, Mabari, you're giving them too much credit. It takes him to see a real beheading before he gets it.
That's my next scene.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Do you start it right from the get, or do you start it when he's getting the tour of the castle? Because I love when he's getting the tour of the castle.
No, you talk about that.
So first of all, I know we have a quote section, but his intro to going to see the king is fantastic. It's beautiful. And only Martin Lawrence would be able to pull that off. But it's this the starting at small forward, Jamal Skywalker. It's beautiful. I love that. That's how he gets intro. They go through the shitter. He sees the shitter for the first time. And now that you mention it, Maburi, you're right. The entire movie is just him making faces. Because he goes into the bathroom and it's like 3 minutes of him going,
Yep. Yep. That's it. That's the movie.
That's the entire movie. And then they go to the what's it called? And then they go to the beheading. We'll talk about Victoria in a little bit, but they go to the beheading. Yeah, okay. Talk to me about the beheading.
I will say though, when this is what we're talking. We're talking about the female empowerment in this movie. The lone black woman, and she's like trying to uplift these women.
Yeah. These
white women, and they're like, "Yo, nah, see, you're speaking out of line. Are you crazy?" All this shit. I mean, you could really contrast that with the suffragette movement in the 1920s and 1930s.
This is what, 400 years earlier?
Dude, killing it. Black Knight killing it. Also, he's like, first off, out of crazy, he asked her if he has a
Go ahead, talk about that womanhood. Talk about that. What did he ask her? Mr. Feminist?
She has a thong. Like, I'm trying to.
This reminds me so much of the Chris Tucker scene in Rush Hour. In Rush Hour 2, I'm sorry. What's it called? Because the way these dudes try to pick up females, it blows my mind. His introduction to her is, I market or I represent Denzel. You could call him Zell. And he's like, all I need from you is pics in a thong.
Yeah, he's like, you got a thong? And then she's like, excuse me? And he's like, never mind. We'll just take a pair of old drawers and we'll cut the ass out. I was like, what you fucking talking about? Yeah. So that, but then when she's like, you can read and write, and he's like, yeah, who you been dating? Hilarious.
Hilarious. He says, you got to raise the bar. Yeah. Could you imagine dating someone who could read and
write? Crazy, bro. Fucking crazy. The execution. Because it's real. When he does it, because it's real and passes out. First off, you knew he was gonna pass out, but he still sells it, kills it.
Yep.
And then when they wake his ass up. First off, leeches, gross.
Disgusting.
I know white people are probably trying to bring that back because they try to appropriate everything. So it was 10 years ago. It's going to be fucking leeches in 5 years. Watch. You're laughing now. You're watching now. Wait for these Instagram models to be selling leeches in the fucking bottle, bro. Wait for it.
Wouldn't that technically be their culture? Couldn't they not appropriate the leeches? They could have the leaches. I'm just not buying it.
I bet if you go back far enough, they stole that shit from like the Middle East or some shit.
100%. Somewhere. Yeah, so he wakes up.
Is actually, it's Martin Lawrence's character doesn't do a lot of smart things this movie, but when he realizes it's real, and then he's expected to ride the horse, and he says, "Your Highness, I'm also a jester." Brilliant.
That is
brilliant. Because then you can get away with everything.
Exactly.
And they do like a fun little horse scene where they definitely got a black guy who does stunt horses from Cirque du Soleil or some shit to just ride up and down. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think the scene was okay. And like I think there was a little too much. I feel like they had enough with the horse, and then like the king said it.
Oh I got this quote. This embodies this movie because every joke that is somewhat funny gets beat to the ground, and then the king literally says, "You have to admire the commitment." He's no longer funny, but he refuses to give up on the joke. That should be the tagline on the trailer of this movie.
Yes, I love that because that hits it right on the head. Right on the head.
There's no self-awareness.
Zero. Zilch.
Movie takes itself seriously and it's trying to be a comedy. So it just feels weird. The next scene, and this is my favorite scene.
Yes.
The highlight of the movie. The Norman dance scene. This is our Back to the Future band scene, if you remember Michael J. Fox talking to the band, getting the band together, and then inventing rock and roll, showing black guys how to invent rock and roll, just like Elvis, and bringing his
Just like
parents back
Elvis.
together, bringing his parents back together.
Yeah.
In that scene, it's exactly the same. You know, these movies are great like this. Honestly, the power of movies, because you can just walk up to a band and you just like, yo, do like this, put a little bounce on it, and the musician's just like, yep, I got you.
I got you.
I got you. Put a little bounce on it. Put a little stank. I got you.
I know exactly what you mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
I know the melody, the rhythm, the beat, the frequency. I know it.
Everything. But
and the way he does it, Maburi, he's beatboxing. It's not
Mhm.
like he even explains anything. He's just like, give me some drums, and they know exactly how. It's perfect. Listen, I got
but you know what? Martin's got some moves. It's one of the movies. We can shit on the movie, but I don't think you can shit on Martin Lawrence, because this movie, it literally, he's in every scene and he has to carry the fucking movie, entertain your eyes from start to finish.
Yes, he does.
And this scene is literally like he has to dance, just dance and make noises and shit and make people laugh, and he does it. I mean,
he really does do it well.
Yeah, it's not top tier. I'd say the best at it would be like Eddie and Jim Carrey, and those guys are fucking can
Probably
do
the
it
best.
really well.
Mhm.
But Martin does really good with what he's working with.
Yes,
But the scene is fun.
it's
It's a
fun.
bop. It works.
The music is great.
The music is great.
He
I
gets
like to see
everybody
the
dancing. They
The
do a
baby on
soul.
that beat. The baby on that beat would have fucking killed it.
Word. The baby.
The baby.
Oh my
Bring
god.
Carolina. It's filmed in Carolina. Bring Carolina's favorite son in there. Yeah, the baby would have killed it.
I love that they did the whole Soul Train. It's great. I mean, he really does get everyone dancing, including the king. I mean, they doing the little shimmy. It's a great scene. It's a good scene.
And it leads right into an assassination attempt, which one of my favorite Martin Lawrence things is he's being chased by the knight, who is clearly trying to kill him, and how he gets out of it is he screams "Behold" and points behind him like some fucking cartoon. The knight does a complete 180. It's almost like Behold was invented in like the 1800s, and they haven't like realized that pointing behind someone like can confuse people, because this dude just turns around. Like, are you telling me every time someone points behind you, these guys they just don't realize it yet?
It's like, come on, man.
He fucking dips, and then he saves the assassination attempt. And
Can I just say, side note, first of all, he gets chased by Percy because he's French kissing, and I love the way the princess says it. She's like, your tongue was in my mouth like an eel in the water or some shit like that. I thought that was fun, but that's why he gets chased. And then that little back and forth between him and Percy, where he's like, "Do you think you're good enough for the princess? I mean, the princess is good enough for thee." He's like, "No, not for thee, for me." I'm like, word.
Dude, their interaction right after that, when he gets fucking knighted or whatever, he becomes Sir Skywalker. Honestly, that feels like the most Martin comedy, because he's like, when he's shitting on Percy and he's like, let's show a little mercy for Percy. Like, dude, that honestly feels like it could have been on Martin the show. Like,
yes,
honestly feels like the one part where it was like Martin definitely like wrote that or improv that, because it was fucking hilarious.
it was hilarious. I love that part. But going back to the scene, that was the worst assassination attempt I've ever seen.
Yeah,
They're so shitty at it. Like, what are you doing? I mean, they're actually just so bad at it. They had two of them go at the same time with the knives and the bread, and it's like,
there was a Soul Train dance off where you could have just stabbed you. I don't know,
for real. But listen, I'll go with it. But to finish off when he was talking to Percy, and when Percy cuts off the king, and he's like, "Come on, man, that's rude. You can't cut off the king. That must just be how you were raised." I was like, "This dude is just digging at him." Okay, I enjoyed that. Next scene.
The turnip. It's not a scene. It's just the bit with the turnip thief.
Beautiful.
When he's dying laughing. Honestly, if I had to, this movie, if you made this, it would be like a dark comedy horror. But imagine getting transported, becoming a knight, like in medieval times, and then you have to actually like run the fucking like security for the king, and you have to deal with shit like this, where you clearly don't want to do any of this shit, but you have to kind of fake it. That would be a sick movie.
Exactly.
Because it would be like stressful and hiding from the king, and it'd be like what's that Adam Sandler movie? This Is How I Win with KG.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you mean when he's like constantly betting, when he's like
yeah. If you made it like that,
I know what you're talking about.
Fucking yeah. That would be a sick movie, because honestly, the first half of this movie is the least interesting part. Actual stakes are being put in there.
Then it gets exciting. Yep. But you're right. The turn-up scene is hilarious. King, that's my ass. I love that. I love that.
He's like, the king's like, why were you stealing? And he's like, oh, me and my family are starving. Good. Round up his family and kill all. It's like, what the fuck?
Makes no sense. There's no way anyone just think it's just the worst thing ever. Yeah.
It's literally this dude, Putin, Gaddafi. Like, I don't even understand. Why would you farm for this dude? Why don't you just go to the next one over?
Exactly. And they make these castles and these whole like fiefdoms. They make it so silly. It's like, yeah. All right. Next scene. That was a nice little fun scene. I did like that scene.
He gets caught with the princess.
Yeah.
The Duke, the Normandy thing guy shows up. I hope that dude got paid well, because the amount of fucking bluster that dude got, he came in, he had like 2 lines and had to leave. And I was just like, damn, the Normandy guy. Quick. Yeah. But when he's like, yo, your daughter's a freak, I was like, dude, come on, read the room.
Your dad is a freak. He doesn't say it. He
like,
dances.
Read the room, because come on.
Yeah. A little trivia about that scene that I found out from IMDb. The tripping, the fall of the princess after she runs out of his bed was not planned. That was a total accident, but the director liked it so much that he kept it in.
Damn, even the trivia for this movie is shit.
Yeah. I hear you. That's the fun fact of the movie that I found. So he gets caught. They send him to jail. What happens?
Honestly, that was a great transition from there. And then he's like, yeah, when he's like, would it make you feel better if I just said I'm sorry? And then him squeezing the fucking tiny ass cage swinging. And I was like, honestly, that's fucking hilarious. That's honestly.
That is a great transition. It really is. It's a good one.
And then the other assassins are like, dude, you're a genius.
Like, word? Compared to their assassination attempt, yeah, I would consider Martin Lawrence a genius in that situation, because their assassination attempt is so sad. It's the worst thing. It just bothers me that that's their attempt at killing the king. It was like no effort, just no effort at all.
We talk a lot about like how the tone of this movie really like doesn't match a lot very well, whether it's going from like comedy to action to taking itself really seriously. There's this part in this upcoming scene, his execution, where he's begging for his life, and it just is really jarring by where Martin's begging for his life in a comedy, and you're just like, this is like a kid's comedy, and Martin's like, no, please don't do it. And I know he's trying to be funny, but I'm just like, dude, we just see this dude smash a cantaloupe, and when he puts his head on the guillotine part, and there's blood already there, and he's like begging for his life. I'm like, dude, this just feels weird, and like, because I know the laugh is coming like 10 seconds later, but I'm like, this just feels like the tone feels a bit off.
It is a little off. It's so weird because it is scary. I mean, if you're a kid and you think this dude is getting beheaded, you're like, oh shit's about to go down. But like on his way up to getting beheaded, he's like, they want us to line up by color, lightest to darkest. I'm like, this dude will do anything.
Like, what does that buy you? Fucking 10 seconds? And then he's like, behold light, behold fire. It's like, we got fire. Right.
We got fire. I love that dude who's like, we have fire. I'm like, shit, bro, this dude is wild. But it is wild in this movie. Martin Lawrence, like, this is his second time saving someone's life when he saves the what's it called, the butcher, whatever you call him,
Executioner.
the executioner. Yeah, it's the second time in the movie where he's already saving someone's life, and he's like, woo, boogity woogity woogity, because he's a sorcerer. I thought that was fun. I did think the scene was fun.
If they wanted to do stunt casting, if they ever do Black Knight 2 and they really want to find a real sorcerer, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Just make sure she comes bald.
Yeah.
We need that shit shining like mine. Get that magician powers. Hey, Jada Pinkett Smith, she's getting all the shits. All right. Yeah. Anything else about that scene?
Honestly, I just wrote the action scenes are so bad again. The thing where he points at them and then the one arrow goes. That's kind of cool. But other than that, I mean, it's okay. They escape. Him getting on the horse, like 50. First off, Martin Lawrence, I hope he's the one that was like, let me dodge these arrows like a Marshawn Lynch in NFL Street 6. Because he's literally these guys shooting the arrow are 20 feet away. What is he doing?
Like side steps, bro.
These guys are like he's LD, bro. Like I have no idea what's going on here.
Bro, it's the worst. It's the worst. And the fact that the Sir Nolte says that it took him 5 times to get on the horse that was 10 feet away from where he was getting shot by the arrows.
That's the main issue right here that we keep harping on. It's a juxtaposition between it's like they want to make Martin look like a badass sometimes, but then he's also a joke and not athletic enough to get on a horse, but he's athletic enough to dodge arrows.
Yeah.
He's athletic enough to dunk on a full-grown knight and knock him the fuck out. But then he has to fucking do all these other gags and side shit. It's like it just doesn't make sense.
None of it, but you can't but do any of these scenes in concession and think that it would make sense.
That's what I'll give Kevin Hart. He doesn't even try to be like
a badass at all. Yeah, no, he never does. I think I know. I mean, do you have any of the? Oh, okay. What's your next scene?
The Queen's speech. Okay. Amazing. This is the one scene you remember.
Yeah.
This is the one scene you remember.
100%.
And you get the sense that this might be one of the most realistic speeches. I assume that most you all right, you roll the dice with these monarchs and all the time, like you read about these guys and they're always like Alexander the Great and he like rallied the troops and but that's like, he must be like 1 out of 10. Everyone else, like think about people who can actually public speak, who are actually charismatic. Like all these guys are inbred fucking weirdos who grew up by themselves, raised by like handmaids. Yeah. Like I assume they speak like Mark Zuckerberg. That's what I assume they speak like. So
and that's you being generous. That's you being generous. There's no way that like the majority of these kings are actually king worthy and are like crowd speakers. Like that the whole movie with the king's speech. That entire movie was about this king who just couldn't speak in front of people. And that has to be a good majority of them. Right.
So the whole England fucking kills me every time.
Yeah.
Amazing. But I don't know why she's rocking by herself. Doesn't have any guards, nothing.
Yeah.
Nope, he's the only guy.
And
what's going on?
How long? Because she literally, the way she reveals herself, it's like she's been in the camp with you guys for how long has this dude been king? She's just like, the queen is here. Did no one even notice? Like
if you actually think about this movie too long, it just falls apart at the seams. Because you're telling me like she has no friends? No friends.
Nothing.
This dude is isolated by himself. Normandy doesn't even want to deal with them. She can't rock up to a cousin, an uncle, someone and just be like, yo, help me out. Let me get my shit back. Nothing.
Exactly.
Whatever.
The best that this king has is Percy.
The speech is okay. Rips off a lot of people. Ask not what you could do for your fiefdom. Ask not what your fiefdom can do for you. Ask what you can do for your fiefdom.
Yep.
Quotes. First off, we had a whole thing about who's the dude that got beat up? Rodney King. That's just honestly, I don't know if the Rodney King jokes were ever fucking hilarious, but him starting the thing with the Rodney King jokes and everyone walking away, amazing.
Yeah, I don't even understand. Why would you say that? There was once a king, Rodney King, and he said, "Ow, ow, ooh." I was like, "Damn, man, you can't."
I could see that killing in Def Jam.
Oh yeah, maybe, but that was wild. I did like that speech. It was hilarious. My favorite part was just like, "You guys look like shit. You don't look at your feet. Just look at your feet." Like, I know what you mean.
Well, I kind of joined that with the training montage.
Love the training montage.
Honestly, this soundtrack feels like their budget was $100,000, and they were like, "All right, we're gonna spend 80 of it on James Brown." I know we wanted to do a dancehall track. I know you were leaning for like Shaggy or Sean Paul, but what if we just got some random nigga and we got James Brown for the
James
montage?
Brown, exactly.
Because good song, and then
remember the actual training though. Why are they doing wrestling and football moves?
Right, which is why I'm saying, like, if you're gonna be this ridiculous, go all the way.
Go all the way, yes.
Do dance offs, do all this shit. Like doing it halfway, it just feels off because it's like we're doing a football thing against trained guys. When the guys doing when Nolte's doing like rope-a-dope, I'm like, rope-a-dope doesn't make sense if you have a sword in your fucking hand. It literally doesn't make sense. What are you rope-a-doping? Just chop his head off. What are we doing here?
Exactly. None of it makes sense. But it was a good training scene. I didn't write down the quote of what they were singing in the beginning of the training scene. We're gonna stick, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know how they do it in the armies. Yeah. I did enjoy that. I liked it. The fact that Skywalker Jamal gives the sneakers and it's like, at least your feet won't be 1,000 pounds. I think it was that from the speech to the end of the training montage was a good chunk of just like a good time watching, right? Like
I will say they do a good job. Jamal in this, a lot of these movies requires the main character to be a complete asshole, and it's like a lot of Kevin Hart's movies. Like, if you actually think about like how he treats the people around him, he's just an image. Like even like Adam Sandler and all these movies where it's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's like he has to be like an immature asshole, but he's lovable and funny. Even Will Ferrell, all these comedians, all these comic movies.
Especially Will Ferrell movies. He's like the biggest douche in all of his movies.
Right, but it's funny and it's like lovable, whatever. This movie, he's an actually genuine good guy.
Legitimately. Right? A little selfish in the beginning.
People, but even in the beginning, his selfishness is like, listen, you got to look out for yourself. Yeah. He's actually giving her good advice. Like, you run a black-owned medieval theme park in LA. What are you doing? Come on. Get out. Come on. Retire, save it. She's like, I'm uplifting the community. It's like, yo, come on. You could be in.
I love when he's like, he's just like, put the money in and get it. I love when he does that. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Next scene. Or should I say final scene?
The end battle.
Yeah.
Which I just mentioned because I have to mention. I mean, they do a little football. They build up this Black Knight myth. It's almost like they forgot the movie was called Black Knight. They throw him in there at the very end. At the execution. When he's like in jail at the execution is when they first mentioned the Black Knight.
Yeah.
If you're a writer, you can't throw in a little Black Knight has been. Like, there used to be a Black Knight that terrorized some shit early on, or like even when the turnip thief be like, like the Black Knight would never take this. I mean, how hard is it to add some shit like that to that? It's not like
they mention it once. They literally mention it once, and then it's like
It's like, oh, and then everyone's afraid of the Black Knight.
The
What are we
entire
doing here?
horseback riding crew that's standing outside of the castle runs away when they see a single Black Knight. I mean,
if he's that big of a legend, come on. And why not give the knight to Nolte, who's an actual knight? I don't know. Maybe I'm just making too much sense. Maybe I'm not making enough, but all this shit just seems very obvious.
Yeah. And they put it together real shitty. They never explained how they did the fire breathing. Do you know how he did it?
I'm assuming. Oh no! I just realized he had the lighter. So you need to do that. You need like an aerosol can, which I don't know how he would get.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
That's the end of the movie. I will say this: it's 15% Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's harsh.
It's a little too harsh. That's what I'm saying. Way too harsh.
For Martin Lawrence's haircut and waves alone, I think you have to give it a 40%. Off that up, because his waves stay wavy and crispy.
Yeah, the entire time.
That movie.
What jersey was he wearing? The 23, the green jersey?
It's one of those jerseys you buy at Old Navy, you know?
That mean nothing. That's for no team.
And it's just like a jersey, and it's probably $20. But because it's like a weird shade of green. I don't know.
I was just like, he's from LA. There's no way it's a Jets jersey, but it looks like a football jersey. I was putting too much effort in this movie. I thought about this movie more than the directors did. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So you did tell me your favorite scene, and I do have to agree with you. You said the banquet, the dance banquet hall.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That was a great scene. I loved it. It was a good time. You were smiling. You actually started shimmying my shoulders when I was watching the scene. It was a good time. It really was a good time. Let's quickly talk about the cast, because I think the MVP is pretty obvious. It's Martin Lawrence as Jamal. Do you have an LVP?
You know, I could say Percival, but it's such a thankless job to be like just, I don't know, to just have that job of just being a bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, you could spend more money and get a more famous actor, but this movie is clearly all about not spending any money at all. So saying that kind of means nothing.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know.
For me, it's like they made such a big deal out of the Queen, and she had a shitty speech, and that was it. I mean, like, I thought the Queen was useless in the movie.
I can see why no one fucking wanted to follow you.
Exactly. I was like, I get it. I mean, yeah, the Queen was useless, and I just thought the King. I thought the best part of the King was that line he said after the horse jester thing, and the scene where he was like handing the dude the peas with the dog licking and shit. I was like, God damn. So it's like a tie between the King and the Queen. They were both kind of like just there. And it was like the movie was about the King stealing the kingdom from that Queen. And I was like, I don't care about either of these people. Like the King wasn't, I don't know, killing a family for turnips does seem a little fucked up. So probably the Queen, probably the Queen, because the King was
the intro at the theme park. When you first look at that theme park, it looks abandoned.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, this is a thriving business that is about to have more competition. And then you're like, no, I don't know about this. The water is literally like
infested.
It's infested. And then she's like, you have to clean the moat. It's like, if you have all this moat cleaning shit, why did you wait until it's literally green and full of fucking sludge? This makes no sense. The shit there looks like, that looks like, you know, when you like go to an abandoned fucking neighborhood and there's a pool and it's like green and shit. That's what that looked like.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
So I feel like we've said a few of the quotes throughout the movie. Do you have any quotes that you like that we haven't talked about?
Nah, not really.
I did like there was a couple for me here. Let's show a little mercy for Percy. You mentioned that. No, I think we hit all of the ones when he first goes to the castle and the one of the castle guards touches him and is like, who be you? And then he's like, who be I? I be stomping your ass. You put your hands on me one more time. I like that. I thought that was fun. We got all of them. And then the remake, the recast. What are your thoughts? I mean, go ahead.
It's one of those things where I'm like, as it currently is, it's such a. I think I almost want to say, I could see this. I see this having a better shot of being a TV show, like one season on even like Netflix, and then
it seems like a Hulu show.
And maybe they'd actually do it like serious. First off, when they say these motherfuckers say more like they say nigga in this movie. I'll just say that. I will say that. When they say more, I'm like, God damn, bro. That shit cuts, bro.
They do really put some emphasis on the more. This more. Yeah, they really don't like that. And Martin Lawrence himself, he says it in the movie. I'm not liking this more word as much anymore. But yeah, for me, for the remake recast, I literally said this is 100% in 2022 is a Kevin Hart movie.
If it had to be a movie, it feels like that's the only choice.
That's the only choice. I mean, like, who else? You're right from the get. Like, who else could pull this off? Like, just be the silly and be on screen the entire movie. Right. Who else could do that? Right. It has to be Kevin Hart. This is a Kevin Hart.
There's not even a lot of, like, if you just open it up and be like any comedian in general. Like in general, I'm trying to think of like who could do it. Like,
I don't know. I also don't watch that much comedy.
In America, though, this would be like Pete Davidson and be like, all right.
Oh God, listen. I don't find Pete Davidson funny at all. I feel like him dating Kim Kardashian and getting Kanye hate has made him so much more popular than anything he's ever done. Right. I mean, do you like him at all? Like, have you seen any of his? I don't understand
how he keeps getting into shit.
That's my question.
I can't name like 3 SNL skits he's been in.
That's the thing, bro.
I can't name his stand-up special, but he like keeps popping up on like ads for vitamin water or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know how this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. But like, I honestly think Pete Davidson's not good enough to do this. He could. I don't think he could.
No, but I think they just give it to him and be like,
okay. I see what you mean. Oh, you know what movie he did do that I thought was pretty good? It was that movie with when he has depression, he's a tattoo artist, and Bill Burr's in it.
King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island. So I did watch that movie. Yeah, I thought it was okay, but I thought
Judd Apatow can make any fucking body. I think you could take you, Swardick, and make a fucking sad coming of age movie, and it would be like, oh, you know, that's sort of my auntie, you know.
Yeah, but if you've been cast members around me, I think I could shine. I think I could shine. Any final thoughts?
No, I just think this movie takes a lot of shit, but it's one of those movies where it's like we all had this in your childhood. Maybe you're drinking Kool-Aid, or you're eating this food and you're like, yeah, I remember it. Like, remember when you're eating fucking bagel bites or all this bullshit and you're like, yo, Lunchables. Remember, I thought Lunchables tasted amazing. Exactly. I'm sure it tastes like dog shit in real life.
Of course it does. Of course.
But it's all these things that you're like, it's the nostalgia. This is one of them. And for that reason, it's a millennial classic. For the reason it's Martin Lawrence. I like, of all those movies we named, this would probably be my least favorite. I think I like Blue Streak. Blue Streak's probably one of my favorites. Life is great. Bad Boys is great. Honestly, Big Mama's House. It's just this is what we got to do. We got to give the people what they need sometimes, and not what they want.
And I think you said it perfectly. You're right. Number one, the reason we're doing this is for Martin Lawrence, and we'll definitely have more Martin Lawrence throughout our time doing Millennial Classics. But the idea for Millennial Classics is when the movie came out, when we were the age we were, when we watched the movie the first time, how did this movie hit, and what did it mean to you at the time? Right? Watching a movie now and saying, holy shit, it's shitty because of the CGI, it doesn't hold up, or, it doesn't make sense. But if you watch this movie as 8, 10, 11, 12-year-old kid, and you are having a blast, and Martin Lawrence is making all these jokes, and you giggling and laughing and enjoying your Lunchables. What else do you... Exactly. Well, of course it means just as much, right? It's the nostalgia of it.
Yeah. Let me just say,
Go ahead.
when I was a kid, I watched The Matrix, loved it. I didn't realize what was happening at all.
At all.
Until, like,
I did
when
not get it. Of course not.
Rewatched it when I was like 18.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there were human batteries and there were machines. Me, I was just fucking watching that movie and seeing motherfuckers go backwards in slow motion.
Running up walls. Exactly.
Having a fight in the dojo. But that doesn't mean it wasn't like just as special, because I remember all that stuff when I was a kid.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Black Knight, it's a really good time. Probably, I mean, I don't know, smoke a joint, have a few beers, throw it on.
Do something, bro.
Exactly. Do something to enjoy this movie. But that's your Millennial Classic, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Deuces.
Deuces.